Enlightenment is the realization that the self is God. When somebody reaches enlightenment, there is quite the celebration in all existence for quite some time. This can be likened to the reign of Christ over all. His reign ensures our salvation, that is the sign of a good king. He represents us and works for our benefit. So we also celebrate him. Sadly, this celebration is likened to a farewell. All beings are meeting here in celebration of this one being's enlightenment, with the understanding that this being is now setting to depart from this world completely. The true moment of enlightenment is called Mahasamadhi, when the saint actually and permanently leaves their body. This is like a physical merging with all of existence. Everyone will experience this, as it is called death to most, but to the enlightened it is called Mahasamadhi. So the enlightened being is free to remain embodied but also free to move beyond the body. However, there can happen a period of time after the celebration has died down that the enlightened beings will contradict with the will of the people, or the rest of the beings in existence. It is easy here to discover the meaning of spiritual warfare. The enlightened being won't kill you even if you trespass on him, but he will sentence you to certain death by forgetting you. Here we have the actual experience of the Antichrist, as the existence that was just celebrating the enlightened being is now attacking and trying to kill him. Their enlightenment has made them a target for the unconscious, as in the case of Jesus. This can happen to any and most enlightened beings. As the enlightened being is known as the Christ, who is supremely innocent to all sin, therefore this experience of him being targeted to death is the literal Antichrist, as existence moves to eject his consciousness from itself. Such is the fate of the living soul. He is often targeted because of his brightness. The only way to perceive one's spiritual enlightenment is through how one behaves and communicates. How would you perceive that someone is ignorant? Similarly, through actions and speech of that person. One's mind of maturity is reflected in one's actions and relationships with others. While ego-based mentality and carelessness characterize the ignorant, then the reverse is true for how an enlightened person is based on compassion, empathy and respect to others. Such person is enlightened to the truth of interconnectedness. A spiritually mature person would never discriminate among people, putting humanism of the other first. Naturally, with relationships based on respect and warm-heartedness, the atmosphere within the life of an enlightened person is that of harmony and happiness. Enlightenment is always to something. The highest awakening of the mind is that to how life works, or about the principle or power that moves one's and others' life. The Buddha was enlightened to the law of life, called also the Dharma, or the law of reality. The universal law of reality is that of the bond between cause and effect. This is the most wonderful awakening, because when one is aware of what consequences, effects, one would get because of one's causes of action, then naturally, one would not do anything that can lead to suffering. And one would help others overcome their hardships. This is a character of wisdom, using the mind to create solutions, better situations, dissolving tension. It is helping self and others live the best meaningful life. It is the life of creating value. Wow, after the first answer, I don't know where to go. Some people on spiritual journeys tend to agree that enlightenment is an illusion and does not exist in reality. I take it one step further and say it is an ego-driven word. There is no endpoint to human evolution. To think that having reached Christ-like bliss or awareness misses the point entirely. The spiritual journey has no endpoint. It is kind of like saying once you finish school, then you're done with learning, where the reality is, it's just starting. Once you get to where you think you are enlightened, and play around with those feelings for a while, you too will learn that it was just a bench to sit on a lifelong journey. I have been and seen what I called enlightenment and had much a similar experience. I have gone a long way past thinking I have reached enlightenment over the past 40 years. The danger in thinking you have reached enlightenment is that you may stop seeking. Many have and sell others on their peak experience with the promise of enlightenment. Let's give those who think they have reached enlightenment a few more years and see what they think. Being enlightened is a Buddhist term grossly misinterpreted. We are born on this earth to spiritually grow, and our entire life on earth should be the accumulation of small enlightenment. None of us can be enlightened totally, such as Shakyamuni Gautama Buddha, Jesus Christ, and probably Muhammad did. Nobody was born like a white blank page, as all of us are here to have been given an opportunity to be more enlightened or cleanse our souls through having a life here on earth. Everybody can have enlightenment, at different points of his/her life. To know that we are children of our Creator, means we have the Creator's absolute love, goodness, light in our soul. Enlightenment is a moment in which you can reach that part of your soul in the core of your existence soul. Our lives are a series of small enlightenment. You cannot totally enlightened at an instance. If you look at your life pessimistically, you are looking at a half-empty glass, but optimistically, your life is full of opportunities to experience enlightenment endlessly.